K double underscore. Keeping us honest, keeping us straight, and keeping us online as we do get started here. It's dangerous.
All right, so we get our first Fisher Price, my first shield.
Wow. That is a curious item to find first. Of course, we still have a lot more items to go and pretty much 99% of the game left to go. But speaking of items, coming up is the Uncle item. What do you think are we going to get from Uncle?
You know, there's a difference between what I think and what I hope. I hope for bombs. I think we're going to get one of the canes.
And
yes!
The cane! One of my favorite starting items, as I mistakenly thought it'd be the easiest. But as a matter of fact, this cane is the most difficult cane to start with.
It is. It has, kind of limited range. It's difficult to kill any enemies. Hard to do any farming. But I love this cane. This cane and I have bonded over many a difficult seed together.
It's the second best cane in the game after all, so can't be much wrong with that.
It's the first best in the game, and don't let anyone tell y'all any differently.
We'll keep it at that. In the meantime, our runners will be keeping at the Hyrule Castle dungeon. Going to be making their way through. First 6 minutes are going to be pretty similar as per usual. But we still might see some very minor differences in strategies because the cane does call for some interesting strats.
When you say interesting, you mean absolutely horrifying, and good luck farming bombs in this. Yeah, so the difficult thing about the Cane of Burna, I think, from start to finish is going to be the difficulty. You have so little room to do any sort of farming. You got to really save your farming attempts for being in the sewer. g3rd0 takes a couple extra ticks of magic that he doesn't need to, so Buane's going to have a little bit, just like a smidge more magic than g3rd0 does.
Yeah, definitely at this point, running out of magic is going to be a very huge detriment because there is one enemy that you are required to kill near the end of the dungeon. So if you run out of magic and don't have any other means of dealing damage, you have to reset. Both the runners going for the double pot strat, definitely not a bad idea considering they want to save as much magic as possible, as Zelda has a small prize money in her chest today.
Yeah, so we've got one of the dungeon items in the key, and then 50 rupees, and then not a whole lot else. This is not turning out to be the best seed to start off with for these guys.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a lack of bombage going on. Now, might you want to elaborate on why we need at least one bomb for this sequence?
I will be more than happy to do that now that I can hear you very, very clearly. Holy cow, that was amazing. So, the reason why you need a bomb is that there is a bombable wall as you go through the very end of Escape. There are 3 treasure chests that are back there, and they typically have significant progression. And g3rd0 does find a bomb. We'll see if Buane ends up finding one as well. I hope so. He does. So they'll both have access to that item behind the bombable wall. It is in logic to go ahead and get those items. So if you have significant progression there and you don't get a bomb as you go through, it adds a significant amount of time in order to be able to logically go back and get that. So we're talking, 2.5 to 3 minutes in the opening areas that you absolutely don't want to have to go back and do it. So both runners with a bomb, they're done farming. They're going to call it good for now.
Yeah, thankfully so. Getting that bomb early on definitely gets them to walk past all of these snakes as g3rd0 just did, because they don't have to farm for an extra one.
Yeah, if they had a better weapon, like perhaps the bow or a fire rod or something else. I can see them killing a few more enemies, maybe so they can avoid Kakariko to farm bombs. But when you have the Cane of Burna, if you get one bomb, you call yourself fortunate and keep on trucking.
So yeah, with that, we are seeing g3rd0 opening up the back of the escape. 3 chests to be found, as you mentioned. Buane following closely behind. As we find the power glove, then the lamp, and a big 20 hype.
See, here's why that's hype, is that the glove upgrade being there means that likely if the second glove upgrade was locked behind the first glove upgrade, that treasure location is accessible without the glove. However, the easiest way to get it is to pick up the rocks just above in the graveyard. If that's our logically required glove upgrade and they didn't get a bomb as they went through escape, they'd have to traverse the entire escape portion again. So that's significant that they both went ahead and did that, and both are probably feeling pretty fortunate right now.
Yeah, definitely. And both runners getting the final chest. As we do get a map check, that was a pendant on Tower of Hera, with the rest being crystals, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't quite get my eyes down there to check on Desert. My screen's too big. I can't check them all at the same time. So
yes, it does look like they are both just normal crystals, so
absolutely excellent. As we're going through here, let's see. I mean, the lamp is also interesting from a logic perspective as well. Just knowing that we're not going to have to navigate any dark rooms from the get-go. Plus, it is a fire source if we do need to go up to Tower of Hera for whatever reason to go to that basement. And just a big 20 up on Lumberjack Ledge.
Yeah, Aghanim for now being unrequired. Of course, that could still change. But of course, for our runner's sake, we'll be hoping that they can completely skip our favorite wizard. Meanwhile, both of our runners entering the Lost Woods area. A couple more items to be found. g3rd0 finding some money out in the open. Gonna skip it for now.
Yeah, he's at 91 rupees and full magic pots from the tree pole there. That's absolutely nice. I think that's the tier 1 tree pole at that point in time, since they've already done one. Question in chat, do you get a free lamp when you re-dip escape in standard? Yes, the entire escape sequence, you will always have the free light come, with or without the lamp, so regardless. g3rd0 is showing us kind of an interesting route decision. He's going to try to save his rupees and not purchase. He's going to come down here. These few bushes, you know, with this kind of arrow direction, have a high possibility of actually having bombs in them. So he's going to try to get one bomb and then farm up some bombs in the bombable hut in Kakariko Village. Looks like Buane has more standard, and he's going to be willing to purchase the bombs there. So both valid decisions at this point in time. Buane is going to the dice here, finding some can avoid it. Just
instead,
the other shield.
Finds another shield upgrade. g3rd0 finding a sword on the race game. Might be expending that bomb a little earlier than he'd hoped for. Does look like he's going to instantly go for that sword as Rain is opening up the chicken hut.
Yeah, I don't know about this from g3rd0. I mean, you do want to go ahead and do this, but I would much rather spend that bomb, you know, accessing the rest of your bombs that you need to go through here. So that initial jaunt that he went to save and quit and come back is just completely negated from him using that bomb there. He's going to have to purchase some bombs, so it's a little bit of inefficient routing there from g3rd0.
Yeah, might also be just instinctively going for a required item. But yeah, it does look like both Rain and g3rd0 will be buying some bombs at this point. As we find only a piece of heart on the library. Not starting off very strong. Finding a full hut container at this point, very welcome, as we only have found 3. Well,
So this is officially the Cave of Love, is what I'm hearing.
Wow, as well as ether. That might come in handy and might as well be required, as we get a very expensive 10 bomb capacity upgrade.
Not worth at all.
No refunds though, so our runners are going to have to deal with that. But coming up is the Thieves' Hideout. 5 chests to be gathered, starting with some return money. Definitely nice after losing that 100. And the Ice Rod! And some half magic to go.
Absolutely nice to see at least the Ice Rod, knowing that you're not going to have to farm it. The Ice Rod is one of those things that can be anywhere in the world except locked behind Trinex, because that's the only place you really need it. And if you're required to kill Trinex, it can really troll you. So finding that early is nice. Not necessarily what you want to see, because we really have nothing in terms of that first layer of progression right now.
Yeah, so far the only thing that we found that could progress us is that glove upgrade. And possibly that lamp if we chance ourselves over at the Eastern Palace compound.
Well, yeah, and you know, the glove and the lamp are both required necessarily to get us up to the first part of Death Mountain. So if we end up finding a mirror or a hammer, mirror or a hook shot, rather, I'm sorry, I could see us making an early run up to Death Mountain, because it's pointing hard in that direction right now.
Yeah, it's just going to come down on whether our runners are willing to follow the breadcrumbs, wow, English, or rather fill out the Sphere 1 item pool and get all of the easily accessible locations out of the way early. Buane, though, meanwhile, going to be picking up his fighter sword. g3rd0 gets his quote-unquote investment.
And they both save and quit within seconds of one another, and they're probably both going to be going to the south area from this point on. Very, very close to one another. Man, I'm hoping this game is as close the entire way through. Now, you'll notice they both picked up that rock. That rock has a 50-50 shot of having another bomb underneath it. So, very obviously, both of them wanted to go ahead and check that while they were there.
Yeah, just the same as with those bushes that you mentioned earlier. g3rd0 first of all to be in the dam area does decide to pull the lever first, as Buane is going to pick the chest as we find the Book of Medora. That is our access into Desert Palace.
Yeah, I call the Book of Medora the King Fetch quest, and we have the Quake medallion that's sunk. You know, this is a few too many medallions for me to be comfortable early on. I do not want to get Misery Mire or even Turtle Rock access, you know, when I only have 5 hearts and green mail.
Yeah, this is definitely starting out to be quite a brutal seed. Obviously, both runners going for that Quake medallion, as they both are also going to make their way to the mini Mulderm cave. They do have a sword, thankfully, so this should be over rather quickly.
Question in chat, does the Cane of Burna get you into Aga the same way Kate does? No, negative. Now, one thing to note, once the only thing the Cane really unlocks in terms of logic is walking across spikes. And with half magic, as soon as we get, you know, the other requisite items, the hammer and the moon pearl, of course, the spike cave is opened up logically because of that cane and half magic. So that's something worth noting. But no, the cane does not work exactly like the cape does.
Yeah, and to elaborate on that, because for the barrier you need to have the Master Sword in the vanilla game to kill the little barrier, and since the Cane of Burna does fighter sword damage, it is not powerful enough. And since the magic cape simply skips it altogether, that is, I believe, the reason why the blue cane does not work.
So right now, we're kind of in an interesting position, and chat's pointing out that Desert is looking real strong right now. If Desert is not boots locked, meaning there's not an item on that torch in desert, then it's full clearable because you have the lamp is your fire source to get through. You have the power glove to go ahead and pick up the rocks, and we have a weapon to go ahead and defeat the landmow. So we're seeing a bit of a route divergence here. It looks like g3rd0 might be on his way over here to the desert, to the, Death Mountain. Buane is on his way over here to Desert Palace.
Oh, this could be huge. If either one of these players finds a major item, then this could turn the tide very quickly. Buane, of course, having a bit more of an advantage in the item count over g3rd0's Death Mountain, but never count out the old man Gary. It won't be the first time he'd be holding on to a hook shot.
Well, Gary, and there's a Master Sword from Buane. Instant value knowledge.
That is massive. Meanwhile, g3rd0 does get Gary through the dark cave and is rewarded with a bit of tip money for bringing the old man back.
Hey, thanks for the Uber. I'm done. So, chat pointing out again, that Master Sword does point. It does mean that Aghanim is unlocked for us. That could still be a possibility. We haven't found the Moon Pearl yet. We only have one of our 3 items necessary to get us into the Dark World. And g3rd0's running out of items. What's here in Spectacle Rock Cave? Oh, the shovel!
You can't be serious!
Stan,
that's
I have a
amazing.
question for you.
Moon... Yeah?
Do you want to do a fetch quest?
Oh my god, yes. Oh, I'm sure chat is loving this, and I'm sure g3rd0 is kicking himself for finding that this early. Buane, meanwhile, finding himself the vanilla big key. Oh my goodness, this could not be any better.
So Buane has found out that this is not boots locked, actually, which is glorious for him.
Yeah, that is going to mean that Buane will have the early crystal advantage. A bottle, though. If g3rd0 does find the boots in the dig spot, that bottle might lead to another progression item at g3rd.
That is interesting. And just the compass. So the second item, I don't think we found another item so far here in Desert Palace. Oh!
It's the cane!
I mean...
Well,
nice!
The second best cane in the game, of course.
Here's the problem, though. Like, that doesn't unlock anything except for possibly, once we get some other things, Turtle Rock. And you don't want to do Turtle Rock right now.
Oh man, yeah, with only, what is it, 6 hearts, blue mail, or green mail even. Wow. Buane, meanwhile, getting his prized Master Sword. g3rd0 following closely behind.
So we do know that shovel is, in all likelihood, required, unless through some ungodly coincidence, both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire are not required in any capacity, plus the entirety of the right side of Ganon's Tower is not required. So, in all likelihood, if you're playing the percentages, that cane's going to be required.
Yeah, more often than not, to be honest. Buane, meanwhile, making his way through the second part of the Desert Palace, almost at the boss area. g3rd0, meanwhile, starting his adventure.
Now, this will be really interesting because he does have Ice Rod and Half Magic. It is worth noting, Ice Rod does the same damage to Landmow that the Fire Rod does, and he is pulling that out. Ice Baby.
Yeah, one thing to note, however, the Ice Rod shots do travel quite a significant amount slower compared to the Fire Rod, so that does throw off timings a little bit compared to Fire Rod.
But he gets them relatively quickly. That's nice for Buane. Boots? Wait, what?
What? Hello? Hello? No, you can't do this. Well, hoping Buane remembers that bottle.
So, I don't know if I've ever seen boots in desert.
No, I have not seen them there at all. Does look like Blaine remembers the bottle, but wow. What a location for boots.
I mean, it's really nice that they're both doing this. So they're both going to be able to get the same things. Remember, in Randomizer, it's as much about what your opponent does not do as much as what you do. So, I said do. I'm sorry. I'm a child. But, like, so they're both going through Desert Palace right now. They're both going to be able to get the boots. This could have been an item location that really trolled them. We haven't done anything in Eastern Palace up to this point in time. So if anything is over there that really progresses the chain at any point in time, then this could have really debated them after a while.
Yeah, although thankfully with both of our runners going pretty much identical routing, if there is something major there, then one of our runners might start to feel behind. Already due to Eastern Palace pretty much being open from the start. Gerdo, meanwhile, though, making his way into the second part. Buane checking Agina's gate. Fine. Well.
I mean, what? Really?
Okay. Okay, game. I see what you're playing at. Sick Kid.
Sure?
Sick Kid was open all along.
I love Buane's reaction there. He's just like, what? Really? Swipe.
10 arrows on the Lake Hylia item, and it does look like it is going to be Eastern time.
Yeah, there's 6 total items that are here in the area. 3 in Sahasrala's hut, and then 3 in Eastern itself. I don't know if we're actually going to see a dip into Eastern or not. He may find whatever items are here and says, yep, I'm good, I'm going elsewhere.
Well,
flips.
Wow. Okay, flippers don't really open up anything besides 3 locations, but if Swan Palace is required, then it is going to be coming in pretty handy. Gerdo, meanwhile, finishing off the land molars with the ice rod as well. Buane going to make immediate use of his flippers.
Yeah, I like this play. He's following the breadcrumbs right now. He's going to see what the hobo has for us. He has nowhere near the rupees that are required for the horrible, wonderful scammer-in-chief Zora. But he can also check what's on the waterfall ferry as well as the item that is located on the ledge to see if those are required. Well, maybe we'll have enough. I don't know. My God. Hobo saves a ton in rent, apparently.
Well, I mean, when you're living under a bridge, you're going to save a bit of money. But yeah, giving it to a stranger might not be the best of ideas, but for our runners, definitely a good idea, because Buane is now a mere 80 rupees away to be able to get Zora's item.
I want 100 rupees on Zora's ledge, so you have to completely go all the way around, just because. Yeah, okay, if he has 3... Oh, Titan Spin!
Okay. At the moment, that doesn't really do anything for us, because we're still missing the Moon Pearl, but that is a huge item.
Yeah, it should be noted, he can't be a hobo, he's just a hipster. I mean, that's not... You know, he's not homeless. He is just, you know, what is it?
Seeking new experiences in life.
He's community outsourcing his living arrangements. Yes.
Yes. Correct.
Well, one thing that does do, and Buane picks up on it with boots and the Titan's mitts, it does open up King's Tomb.
Oh, that is true.
And there's the Moon Pearl.
Buried with the old king, Daphnis of Hyrule, a shiny orb set to sparkle with the brilliance of the moon.
Now, I just saw Gerdo actually also go into Bonk Rocks. He was going over here to Bonk Rocks and then to turn in his the sick kid bottle, so he's going to have a little bit more inefficient checks than Buane is doing, where he waited to come over here until he had the Titans mitts. I say waited, but it was just kind of a lucky gamble there. So we are getting into a point where Aga is not all dead, but he's mostly dead. The only way that Aghanim can be required at this point in time is if there is the one, the only, the legendary hammer in the Pyramid Fairy location. That's the only way that Aga can be required at this point. We have access to all of the east part of Dark World through the flippers. We do have access to the Dark World in general because we have the Titan Smiths and the Moon Pearl.
Oh, that is interesting, yeah. Although it's small chance, a chance nonetheless. And, you know, considering this is randomized, truly anything can happen.
Absolutely. And, you know, there's a difference between mostly dead and all dead. There's only one thing you can really do when it's all dead, and that's go through its corpse and pick out its change from its pockets.
Also, a wonderful song by Queen.
I was doing a Miracle Max reference myself.
All the references.
All the references.
We just have to wait and see if chat actually picks up on them. Anyway, otherwise we'll just look dumb for saying dumb shit. Dumb words. I mean.
So Buane finds the shovel, so I think he's going to immediately turn it in and be slightly disappointed, but I think after that he's going to go ahead and go into the Dark World over here. The only way we have into the Dark World is going to be over in this Village of Outcasts, Kakariko Village area, and the swag with the shovel dash.
Yeah, to elaborate a little bit on that, the shovel dash is performed by using a glitch called an item dash. If you press the item button and the dash button on the same frame, you will start a dashing animation as well as using the item currently equipped. And for the shovel, that means that you will dig a straight line, although no drops can be gained from this method, unfortunately.
So we saw g3rd0 just pull out his boomerang and stun an enemy to check what the stun prize was. It looks like it's a single heart. The enemies have different prize packs, but the one consistent is that if you stun an enemy and then kill it, it will always give you one specific item. And in this particular instance of the randomizer, because even the drops are randomized, the stun prize is a single heart. If it was 20 rupees, he'd take some time, farm up, and g3rd0 does end up going over here and is going to find his Moon Pearl.
Yeah, meanwhile, Buane giving us a dark map check. Our special crystals going to be at Swamp and Misery Mire. Turtle Rock is our blue pendant because we found the Ice Rod early, as well as Palace of Darkness being our green pendant for this seed.
I mean, Ice Rod, Kane, early-ish Titan Smiths. Was there ever any doubt that Turtle Rock was going to be a pendant? Really?
It's randomizer after all. The only thing we would need now is the Fire Rod, and we're pretty much set to go. Buane, meanwhile, finding a vanilla 300 rupees. We'll be going down south in the Dark World. Most likely going to be rescuing our favorite frog, as well as visiting our favorite digging game.
So it looks like Buane's actually avoiding going into Thieves Town, at least as of this point in time. He looks like he's favoring overworld locations as opposed to dipping into Thieves Town, which is another crystal, by the way, and it's a reasonable check that I think a lot of runners end up making. Buane is gambling that the overworld has the goodies, though.
Yeah, although not a bad choice within the randomizer. Overworld and dungeon checks are pretty much equal. So there's just pretty much a preference on whether or not you want to do overworld or you want to do dungeon diving. Though we are going to see the Jeremiah World Tour with the frog as g3rd0 enters the Thief's Town.
Oh, so another bit of route divergence here. Buane not getting much from Stumpy there. g3rd0 finding his big key initially. And we're getting ready to go over here to Hype Cave. Ladies and gentlemen, get your guesses in chat. What are we going to see in Hype Cave? Is it going to be Dud? Is it going to be Hype? Is it going to be Love? Is it going to be Jerry Maguire?
It's going to be Fire Rod.
You're calling it now. Fire Rod.
I want to see Fire Rod. I want that required laser bridge Turtle Rock for Flute. Oh my god, I'm horrible.
Flute!
Oh! Okay. Great start. And the bow!
Oh my god, that's
And what?
Holy!
11 out of 10 this one. Okay. Well, we are going, everyone. You know, commentator's blessing.
I mean, it's been a while since I've seen a Hype Cave quite like that. Since early in this tournament. So yeah, we gotta call Hype where we can.
Wow, blessed by RNG. Buane definitely going to be happy to have those items. Looking to avoid.
Oh, he's getting close. He's at 1.5 hearts. I mean, this is still a very sickly seed, and he doesn't have the hammer, so he had to go this way. He's trying to keep routing up north. Yeah, if there was anything else there, we would have had to break the scale. Like,
Yeah.
seriously broken the scale.
I mean, we probably already peaked the audio on that one, but we would have just pretty much just destroyed the stream. Goodbye. Oh no! Dark World, a bit too powerful for Buane. No fairies in his back pocket. Will be sent right back into the light world.
But Jeremiah is still following him, so the only thing he really didn't get to do that I think he wanted to do would have been the catfish check right now. Which is fine. It's fine.
Yeah, considering that we still haven't seen Zora, Buane might now start waiting on the mirror to do a quick double check on both catfish as well as Zora. We do have the money now, but
And he pulls out the flute for the Swag Duck National Anthem. Everyone, pay your respects or kneel if you so desire, but get your favorite meme out. The goose is loose, the duck is amok, the pheasant is present, the dodo is a go-go.
oh my god.
Whatever your choice of meme. The game's teleportation method has been unlocked, and we can now have freer movement patterns inside the game.
Fast traveling, always a welcome addition. Meanwhile, g3rd0 into the Thief's Town boss fight. Going to have a little skirmish with Blind. Buane paying 10 for 300 in return. Definitely a good deal.
So interesting. He's coming over here and says, you know, I have 2 empty bottles, but I have a ton of money. Thanks to that 300 rupes from Jeremiah, I'm going to go ahead and buy some blue pots because he has 6 hearts. And that feels bad, man.
Oh, looks like we're going to get a dip into the Misery Maya area. Now, we'll just have to wait and see if we can actually open it. Oh, we can.
We can, and it's full clearable right now with the items that we have. 6 heart, green mail, Misery Mire. might be required. Okay, 7 heart. I'm sorry. Buane got another heart right there. And he's going in.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're already committed to this area. Might as well take a dive. Though not the most lucrative area.
I forgot. He does have blue mail. He got that in that wonderful hype cave that I completely forgot about.
Forget about Hive Cave. 10 out of 10. Yeah, but without g3rd0 is similarly giving the Frogget World Tour. Buane using the dash recoil to get over the gap, which is developer intended. So it is a valid way to enter. Now, Misery Mire is an interesting dungeon because optimally you want to do it in Go mode. I mean, optimally you want to do everything in Go mode. But this dungeon in particular, depending on where the big key is placed, Go mode versus full clear might not be different from each other, as we do find a small key here.
Yeah, the difference between Go mode and full clear varies widely just depending on where the key is. Because if you get the big key in the first 2 treasure chests here, you're done with this dungeon in 2.5 minutes tops. The problem is that oftentimes it can be back, like if it's in its vanilla location, it's effectively a full clear, which without sugarcoating it, sucks.
Yeah, although thankfully for Buane, we are not in Go mode yet, so he will have all the freedom to explore this dungeon to his heart's content. Looking for items, finds one of them, although not what he's looking for.
You say all red. The freedom till his heart's content, like he really wants to do this. The rough thing about Misery Mire, really, when it boils down to it, is there are 3 keys in the treasure chest, in addition to just everything else, and he forgot to hit the thing.
Was he gonna make it? Oh, does squeeze.
Ooh, that was close.
Yeah.
And there's the second item. So as soon as he ends up finding, he's going to take a gamble that the big key is not back there, and it's in this other location over here. He's just looking for the big key. Misery Mire itself only has 2 items. It has more keys in it than items.
Yeah.
Remarkably.
So at this point, it is just a search for the big key to be able to clear the dungeon.
And there it is. Gamble paid off from Buane. g3rd0, meanwhile, is going over here to Eastern. He says, yeah, you know what? I got this bow. Let's put it to work.
Yeah, it is a crystal, so you're going to have to do it eventually. Might as well do it now. On top of that, it does have 3 unique items. And also being in Sphere 1, the game pretty much expects you that you access this location right at the start of the game.
It has 1 more item over it than Misery Mire, but I think I like Buane's play more because it's deeper in the sphere. I don't think we're going to necessarily find anything more than that. If you end up finding the mirror and the hammer, you can route, Eastern and Paw together. But
what? Speaking
of
the hammer,
that was a heck of a play.
Interesting. Sphere 1, having the hammer. Imagine that.
Okay, so chat.
That's funny.
That's crazy. So there's some questions in chat. What do the spheres mean? And it's a valid question. We talk about it a lot in commentary, and we don't always explain it. So when we talk about Sphere 1, Sphere 2, things like that, Sphere 1 is, okay, you start the game, you have your weapon and your armor. That's it. That's all you got. The first sphere is all the accessible locations that you can get without any additional items. So Sphere 2 would be, we got 1 item, and it's 1 item deep into the progression chain. Like if an item location is locked behind 2 or 3 or 4, after Sphere 1 it kind of becomes convoluted depending on where everything is. But Sphere 1 is what can I access from the beginning of the game logically.
Yes, that is pretty much the entire explanation. Meanwhile, though, Buane onto the Vitreous fight did exploit a little glitch in coding. If you use the Cane of Burner, then continuously slash, due to the lag, your magic won't deplete. It's a little bit of optimization. Does manage to take care of the big eye as well. In the same way that g3rd0 is going to be on his way to the Armos Knights. And yeah, to elaborate on that, Sphere 1 is pretty much your starting equipment and the first chest in your house, I believe.
Yeah, I mean that's
Uncle's item.
Yeah, I mean that's Sphere 0. It's your starting equipment. Sphere 1 is everything beyond. Is your first round of items.
Yeah,
Sphere 0 definitely sounds cooler than Sphere 1, but I get the confusion. I think I contributed to the confusion at the last tournament, so that's perfectly fine. But VTorp has corrected me plenty, and it is Sphere 1 are the item locations that you can get from the start of the game. Sphere 0 is your green mail. That's it.
Yeah, and more so VTorp being one of the developers of this wonderful randomizer. So he is definitely the one to thank or to blame for this amazing game.
Let's face it, it's blame. It's blame at this point. So, worth noting, Misery Mire didn't have anything, so Buane's going to go ahead and also dip over here into Eastern Palace. We know this is going to be a good play. Not much else he can really do at this point.
Yeah, pretty much the world's been waiting for Hammer, as g3rd0 will be taking a dive into, presumably taking a dive into Misery Mire. I've got to be careful with my shot calling. But yeah, Buane does find the Hammer going to be happy with that. Or going to be concerned, considering, as we heavily discussed, this is a Sphere 1 location.
So, a question for you here, Stan. These runners are now running over each other's footsteps at this point in time. Where do they go from here?
An interesting question. One thing that is open is the front part of Skull Woods. We don't have the fire rod yet to be able to get into the back part and to beat the final boss, but there are still 2 items to be found within Skull Woods. Palace of Darkness, also an opportunity. It is a pendant, so runners might not want to go in there. But yeah, pretty much. And if we do find Fire Rod or Bumbos, we have access to Ice Palace as well. Again, a dungeon our runners would rather wait for when they're in go mode, which is pretty much the running theme. That a couple of the dungeons are significantly longer than others, such as Misery Mire, Ice Palace, Turtle Rock, etc. Meanwhile, though, we have Buane finishing up the Eastern Palace, going to be heading onto the final part of the dungeon. g3rd0 taking his first steps into Mire, finding that first small key. Good fun, his second one in this one. Now, while we do have some downtime, I would like to point out that the randomizer has a bunch of options for customizing your experience. If you look over on the left side, we can see Buane using a variety of Dark Link sprite. There are probably over 100 sprites available for the randomizer at the moment, so and all of them have full animations, including Link, Bunny Link, pushing, pulling, everything. Also on Buane's screen, he has selected blue hard colors. You have the choice between red, green, yellow, and blue for a little bit more customization.
And actually, do you know like the key reason why they changed the heart colors?
I believe it is because one of our runners has a bit of trouble differentiating red and black. So for colorblind reasons, and of course for a bit of personal swag, the developers added the color options.
Exactly. Yeah, it's an accessibility feature. There's another accessibility feature to change, like when you damage an enemy, it will flash differently in order to facilitate those people who have certain colorblind issues. So it's all for you guys. It's all for the community, and I love it.
No, I did not know about the enemy one. Definitely have to be playing around with that. g3rd0, meanwhile, did opt to go for the vanilla big chest. Did lose a good half a minute with that cutscene, as opposed to Buane's run through. But with that, Buane is onto the ability of the outcasts. Most likely going to take a dive into the Thieves Town.
Yeah, I mean, we know from g3rd0 that there's nothing in Thieves Town, but it is a crystal, so it's worth dipping in here. More importantly, I didn't check as g3rd0 went through here, but I don't know if there's going to be another item back there in the big treasure chest. I haven't really gotten a chance to see it. So I'll have to count some items here a little bit closer than I did with g3rd0.
Yeah, but at this point, our runners pretty much will be tracing over each other, as Buane does find that third bottle as well.
Yeah, if anything, I expect g3rd0 to be slightly ahead. Well, ahead. He has a bit of an advantage because he's already done the thing that Buane is currently doing.
Wow, Buane dodging everything in the hellway.
He's a witch. He's a witch. I can never not take damage in that hallway.
It is indeed very, very difficult to avoid taking damage, just because the enemies move randomly and they don't stop moving. They will move right through.
Buane using bomb strats, and now he's using Burna strats. Oh, the lag! The lag! It hurts so bad!
Yeah, this game, while amazing... Actually, no. This game is flawless. Guaranteed. Flawless. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. The game is flawless. The coding behind the game, not so much.
Questionable. Oh, either way, coding aside, g3rd0 managing to reduce the health to less than 1-0, getting 1 plus crystal get. Yeah.
All right, so here's where we're going to see something interesting, because we know g3rd0 wasn't able to check. Oh, and Buane is... Oh, Buane doesn't have the small key.
Yes, the small key is locked in the big chest, which does mean hammer was required, logically, to beat this dungeon, because it is possible to grab the key, then go to the big chest and grab that small key and use that to finish the dungeon.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, we are seeing a spike gift check from g3rd0.
Yeah, the randomizer pretty much just presumes you're using your keys in the dumbest way possible, so you can't possibly lock yourself out.
Yeah, thankfully so, because I would have probably locked myself out about 1,000,000 times.
Another
I mean-
clean blind fight, and nothing in Spike Cave. So, I'm really starting to feel like Pod is going to be a pretty solid play at this point.
Yeah, it is starting to dwindle a little bit in the item department. Although, as I mentioned, Coco getting in Buane's way there, we do still have Catfish and Zora open to us.
Oh, and the cave. So we might see a northern route here. We haven't even checked to see what's over here yet on the Bumper Cave, have we?
No, we have not.
A lot of runners try to route this in with a graveyard ledge check along with the flanctuary locations. However, can't really do graveyard ledge, but this is at least a check that we can do.
Yeah, it's going to be new information. And so far,
Oh
the
my
mirror!
God.
It's the answer.
And it is the answer at this point. And they'll be able to go ahead and check graveyard ledge since it's right here. And g3rd0 looks like he's going to do the same thing.
Wow, again, a common theme, route divergence, but the sea just funneling our runners. And the routes just end up crossing back over. And yeah, without Buane does acquire the mirror. By the looks of things, it does look like he is indeed going for graveyard ledge. Might as well get it out of the way early.
I mean, there's no reason not to. You are literally right here when you do it. The only reason you wouldn't is if you already have where else you're going to go in mind. And at this point, we have so few options. I don't know if any of these runners have any idea what's going to happen after they do this.
Even before, like, Bombos in graveyard ledge with Fire Rod in ice. Nope.
Why
Rip.
would you even utter those words? Letting that come to life. Oh.
What about... Oh no, that can't happen. What about Bombos? Oh no, that wouldn't do anything either. A hook shot. Hook shot's gonna be possible, right? I think.
I mean, sure, why not? So Buane's going to go down and looks like he's going to check the South Grove ledge as well. Does not have the items to do the Bat Cave check. What? Oh, he's gonna go ahead and grab the purple chest so he can do that as well. He's going to come up. I see what I'm picking up what you're putting down, Buane. It's all right. He's routing efficiently. Meanwhile, g3rd0 says, "You want efficient? I'm going to go do Death Mountain. Get the 2 items that are in Tower of Hera. Go ahead and check to see what's on Ether Tablet. So that's 3. The 8 items that are on East Death Mountain. So that's 12 so far. No, 11 plus at least 3 in Dark Death Mountain. So 14 items versus the 2 other that Buane are checking.
And one possibility is that there is something in the first chest of Turtle Rock.
I mean, yeah, Turtle Rock could be a thing. You're really, really, really hoping it's not.
That's a stretch though, but it won't be the first time that the first chest in Turtle Rock has been holding out. But we do get only a 20 rupee from the lunchbox. Meanwhile, g3rd0, thankfully having the boots, speeding his way through the spiral cave. Wow, Bombo's also not the answer. It
Yep,
is
and-
looking like the vast density of Death Mountain is the answer. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I completely agree. I don't necessarily blame Dwayne for making that low percent play. He is behind 1-0, and g3rd0 has the luxury of being able to make the high percent plays and saying, hey, if it's not here and I lose because he makes a low percent play, then I made the better gamble in terms of pure percentages. Buane is kind of forced into doing that in this one-on-one match, knowing that if something is there, great. If not, g3rd0 has the luxury of just sitting back, and if he loses on a low percent, so be it.
Yeah, definitely an interesting point.
Hook shot.
Well, Death Mountain coming in clutch.
Buane went ahead and is going to go ahead and do Tower of Hera here. g3rd0 did skip this for the time being. He said, I'm going to go ahead and clear out this treasure trove over here on East Death Mountain. Why not?
Oh, and Buane says no. He did find the big key, so he doesn't have to do the coffee break to get to the rest of the dungeon, but decides it's too much of a time investment. Meanwhile, g3rd0 checking out the Super Bunny Cave, finding himself another heart up to 11. But yeah, at the moment, all we are looking for is that fire rod.
It really is a fire rod away from go mode, isn't it? I mean, Bombos, though, is our Turtle Rock entry.
Oh no.
We are now 2 items from go mode.
Also, I'm still sticking to my fire rod and ice palace.
I'll go ahead and say this. I'm actually kind of happy. If I were these runners, I would be really happy that Bombos is locking Turtle Rock, because I do not want to have to possibly double dip here. Like, going in here now and then knowing that I'll have to come back here in a little bit. No, I'm perfectly fine with it being locked for the moment. Oh, and Turtle Rock's a pendant too, so forget that noise.
It's fine. That's why we've got a wonderful tracker keeping us honest. Meanwhile, Buane finding his hook shot. g3rd0 going to not go into Sean Palace. Instead deciding to take a detour to somewhere else. Some miscellaneous overall checks. Definitely not a bad idea. You are looking for pretty much one more item, possibly 2, depending on where Fire Rod is.
Well, and here's the deal. We need something for Ice Palace, either Fire Rod or Bombos, since both are required for Turtle Rock to even walk through the door. We need one. Like, there's no Oh, I guess we need Skullwoods, right? Right. Ignore me.
Yes, again, just to reiterate through that mess, all we need to clear the game technically is the Fire Rod only, but due to the fact that Fire Rod could be in Ice Palace, and the other way of accessing Ice Palace is through the Bombos medallion. So we are at least 1, possibly 2 items away from go mode. Buane checking out the Hookshot Cave. Meanwhile, g3rd0 going to take the gamble into Swamp Palace. It does have 6 items, and is one of the 5/6 crystals.
Yeah, Swamp Palace has a lot of people have interesting opinions about Swamp Palace. It's either a valuable location where you can go ahead and find the most item dense places that you can possibly get, or it's garbage and you should avoid it at all possible costs. Like, there's no in between. The opinions on Swamp Palace are just numerous.
You know, I'm going to go ahead and say I like Ice Palace. On my casual playthrough. In Randomizer, well, that's a whole nother story. But then again, I was one of the oddballs who enjoyed the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time.
That doesn't make you an oddball. That makes you a sadist. Just gonna put that right there for you.
Food for thought. You could say you really threw me into the deep water here.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, yeah, Buane, checking out the checkerboard cave. We have not seen this yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's another one of these low percent overworld locations that we had to avoid earlier, and it's just a big...
Unfortunately not paying out. Yeah, as you mentioned, being down one game, definitely going to make some of the more bigger gambles with these smaller percentages, hoping to get a bailout. But unfortunately, straight to jail. Do not pass go.
All right, so g3rd0 is skipping left side for now, hoping to find the fire rod here. When you're like 1 or 2 items from go mode, a lot of runners will go ahead and skip the left side of Swamp Palace, complete the dungeon because you don't necessarily have to. And if you find the item back here, you can completely skip it and say, nah, I saved myself some time. And oh, he managed to skip the glitch stairwell?
Oh yeah, that is very interesting. The set of stairs that g3rd0 just went through is very, very well coded. And by that we mean it's completely broken. On your first time around, if you go through that transition, the game will put you a little bit too high, so you will just end up getting dragged back down the stairs. One way to combat that is to do a key dash into the staircase, which means you dash a multiple of 4 pixels away from the object you're trying to key dash at. What that does is it'll set you up in such a way that if you hold left, the game will push you out of the wall and prevent you from going back down it. Saved a couple of seconds. Again, with a game as flawless as this, it's the little things.
It's perfect in every way. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Early 90s computer code from Nintendo. It is worth noting, Swamp Palace is also our other 5-6 crystal, and that'll take us to Pyramid Fairy.
Oh yes, very valuable indeed. Even considering we did already have the red crystal from Misery Maya, as g3rd0 does take swift care of the one and only Argus, gets a prize money in return, but more importantly, Pyramid Fairy is now open.
And I do believe, and I'm trusting Farame in chat here. Shout out to Farame. There's still 2 items on left side, I believe. But g3rd0 says, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, we have yet to see the left side. Be interested to see if Buane decides to go left side. Buane did get the big key, which could be a cue to go back to the big chest, which g3rd0 did. But it looks like Buane is going to press on ahead. g3rd0 meanwhile getting the big bomb. He's gonna do the thing.
Man, this is brassy here, to say the least. Skipping left side swamp. I've seen multiple runs where there's the last item is in left side swamp, and when you gamble it, you don't ever come back here. You commit to the gamble. So if nothing's there, great for g3rd0. If something's there, though, that's gutsy.
Yeah, definitely going to be the moment of truth. As g3rd0 does check the pyramid item as well while he's at it. And we do find a rupee. No, it's not it! Oh no.
That was garbage.
Oh
garbage.
No. Oh no. Now one thing that might favor g3rd0 is that he has yet to do Catfish and Zora. So he, with that mirror now, is able to combo those two together. But if Buane decides to go back into Swamp, and the Fire Rod is on the left side.
All right, remember, Buane also was on his way up here when he was doing the Jeremiah World Tour and then took a death. So if this is it, this is significant for g3rd0. But Buane's also going back into the left side, so this could be the race for either one of these guys here directly. Just a big 20.
Oh, it's coming down to the wire. Zoracek coming up shortly. I just want one of these runners to find bombos. I'm evil.
Oh, just a full heart!
Oh no. Buane, you've got a clear shot at the left side.
If it's here, I think the only other place at this point g3rd0 can really go. I mean, it could be in Tower of Hera. We haven't really done that, but it could also be in Palace of Darkness. It's one of those spots.
Yeah, smartly though, g3rd0 choosing Palace of Darkness. It does have 5 unique items, 6 if you include the green pendant.
Yeah, he's making the high percent plays. g3rd0, when he has a 1-0 lead in the overall match count, can do the high percentage plays. He does not have to make the super hard gambles that Buane has to. All right, so moment of truth. If it's here for Buane, big 20.
Oh no!
And
hang on tight.
Fire Rod!
There it is!
Oh, that's
my god! Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, Buane is in go mode. Oh my god. Well, ouch. g3rd0 is going to be kicking himself for skipping left side swamp. Buane, though,
it was a gamble. It was absolutely a gamble. He knew it. g3rd0's making the high percent plays, but Rando's gonna rando. Buane is in go mode. From this point on, he'll be able to go mode, just completely skip most of Skullwood's entirety. We'll be able to completely skip most of Ice Palace, and then he's on his way up. Now, he would love to find silvers, and he would love to find another sword, but not necessary. And I think at this point, he's positioned himself incredibly well.
Yeah, at this point, g3rd0 does have the advantage of possibly finding silvers and solo upgrades, but at this point, having committed to the swamp gamble, it might take him a quite substantial amount of time to get back there. But yeah, with that, this is going to be a fairly fast seed for these runners.
Oh man, that's a Mario kick with swag there, g3rd0. Wow.
Yeah, you can't win them all, but at least he's got swag.
When in doubt, have swag, and he's rewarded with the single arrow.
Funnily enough, that is the vanilla dungeon for the single arrow. And silvers.
Okay, I mean, that's nice.
That's not vanilla, but definitely a nice item to find. Meanwhile, Buane using his Fly Swatter on Mothula, very effective, takes him down very quickly. And all he has to do now is Ice Palace.
Yeah, Buane's not touching Palace of Darkness at all whatsoever. So he will not find those silvers. We'll see what g3rd0 ends up finding. He's going for his 7th and final crystal here. Go moding Ice Palace is, I would call it the dream.
Yeah, definitely a blessing. And having both the hookshot and the Canis Samaria, that does guarantee that he is able to take the fastest route possible. Regardless of the key layout, as well as bomb jumping, but we'll get to that once that's relevant. g3rd0, meanwhile, putting the silver arrows to use.
Buane's going to go ahead and pick up at least 1 or 2 treasure chests in here and finds a fetch quest. Like, he's going to pick up the easy treasure chests on his way, just because he's really hoping for a tempered sword.
Yes, in this game, the difference between level 2 and level 3 sword is the biggest in terms of time, mainly for the Ganon fight, for the difference between a 1 and a 2 cycle. As well as for the fact that you can simply slash with level 3 and 4, and for the Master Sword you have to spin. And a little fun fact, the Fighter Sword can't even damage Ganon at all.
Absolutely correct. And here we have Buane lighting up the Ice Palace bomb jump. I tell you what, when you're a speedrunner, and he nails it first try, but he was setting that up until the very last second.
Yeah, making it look easy.
That's the bomb jump that, when you're first learning to do speedrunning, everyone says, you need to learn this bomb jump. Like, there's no question about it. Meanwhile, g3rd0 is making quick work of Helma's Sword King.
Yeah, the game does not expect you to have silver arrows, so a lot of the bosses have less health than the damage value of the silver arrows. So, in fact, one of the few bosses that actually has more health than a silver arrow is Vitreous and Ganon. Vitreous taking 2 arrows and Ganon taking 4 arrows.
So g3rd0 does not find anything of value, although, I mean, he finds silvers, which are nice. Not what he's looking for, but he's going to go ahead and turn in this green medallion over here to Sahasrara directly. Meanwhile, Buane is on his final crystal boss, Cold Stare. This should be relatively easy, and Sahasrara says, he's playing the Pawn Star here. This is a wonderful green pendant that you found in the depths of an ancient dungeon. I'll give you $20 for it.
Oh my, what a steal. I guess Link has learned it straight from the ball vendor.
Meanwhile, Buane makes quick work of Cold Stare. That is his 7th and final crystal. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you know what that means.
Oh yes, it is indeed time for our sacred game that we like to call the Big Key Guessing Game. As you are already seeing a lot of numbers in chat, there are 22 locations within Ganon's tower, only one of which contains the key to unlock the door to the rest of the tower. Now, with the way this randomizer has been going, Vitesha, where do you think the big key is going to be?
You know, for this setup, I'm feeling it's going to be relatively early. I'm going to guess like 6. That's going to be my number. The key is, the deeper it is, the higher likelihood Buane will have of getting another sword upgrade, which he absolutely wants. So he hasn't even opened Turtle Rock yet. So he's got to go through this bottom section.
Oh yeah, that is true. He's going to have to take the long way around. But that just gives us that much more time to get our guesses in. As for my guess, akin to the randomizer, I like to generate a random number. Today that's going to be 20, fairly late within the sequence, but you know, it is randomizer after all.
Rando's gonna rando. I mean, you know, we try to read something into where the big key is going to be. It is better for Buane if it is late. I will say that much, because the later it is, the more likely he's going to be to get a sword of some kind. If it's early, that's bad news for Buane.
Yes, considering there are still 2 swords in play for this seed, that does give a high likelihood that Gensao is going to have at least one of them.
Yeah, we've seen all of Tower of Hera. We haven't seen all of Skullwoods, but it only has 2 items. Ice Palace only has 3, so there's a pretty significant likelihood that it's going to be somewhere here.
Yeah, pretty much the most item-dense location in the game. Too bad that it's at the very end of the game. But yeah, Buane going to the left side does find the small key on Bob's torch. So, rip Bob.
Rip Bob, indeed. For those of you who don't, if you do not pick them on that particular torch, it glitches the anti-fairy at the very bottom of Ganon's tower in the very basement, just before the Ice Armos. So we've nicknamed that Bob. It's kind of a mascot of the randomizer, if you will.
Yes, he even has his very own emote.
He has his own email. I think you can actually play as Bob, if I recall correctly.
Really? That's
yeah, there's
amazing.
a sprite that's Bob.
But yeah, the reason being that this game, while being flawless, too many sprites is going to overload memory, which causes the sprite to not work as intended, you could say.
You mean stuff is intended to work in this game?
I mean, you would think so, right?
I mean, I guess it kind of works.
I mean, you know, held together with super glue and duct tape.
Not even super glue, my friend. Like the glue you're given as a kindergartner, the very young age that you can't hurt yourself with.
Yeah, that is weak sauce. Although for this game it is perfect because it allows some very interesting things as we find the big key. And in what better place to find it than Rando Room?
Yep, that is chest number 10. So I was off just by a little bit. And Buane says, all right, I guess we're going to go ahead and do it. He checks the last few chests.
Yeah, you could say that I was half correct with my guess.
And Ravis ends up winning it. Ravis, who is currently leading our leaderboard with 18 wins in this tournament. You want to talk about being a witch? It's Ravis.
But yeah, at this point, this is Buane's race to lose, as g3rd0 is going to chance his way into the Tower of Hera. Does find the sword upgrade though, which is going to be nice, but that does mean that Buane has one less sword that could possibly be in Ganon's Tower. There are still a couple of chests left, so there could definitely still be a sword up there, but chances are getting slimmer.
You know, and this was a pretty tempered sword there, so there's still one more. Buane, you know, I was going to say, we started out this seed really unhealthy. Like, we were at 5 or 6 hearts when we first entered the Dark World, but we're sitting at 14 now, which is about average and where you want to be at this point in time.
Yeah, towards the middle section of the run, a lot of pieces of heart and heart containers start showing up, so definitely going to be nice for our runners. They don't have to worry as much about death with heart counts up in the 13 range.
And a very clean one cycle from Buane there.
Yeah, this time with the fire rod. As g3rd0 is going to loop back on his gamble. Hopefully, going to be finding his fire rod.
Yeah, at this point, he knows, you know, he's had to check too many places. If it's here, I think he knows that it's done, and he knows it.
Buane making quick work of the torches. Does have to be careful not to transition into the next room while the door is closing. And the reason for that being is if that happens, the game gets confused, which is a rare occurrence, I can guarantee.
Oh, tempered sword.
Ooh, that is one of the best places to get a sword upgrade as well. But to continue my explanation, if you actually do transition the moment that the door closes, all of the sprites will disappear, including Aghanim, which you need to defeat to get to Ganon. So yeah. And with that level 3 sword, Buane takes quick care of Muldrum. It's going to skip the final chest of the game and we'll be moving straight onto the Aghanim fight. g3rd0 meanwhile making his way to the floodgates of the left side. Going to be opening those up to be able to swim across to his eventual fire rod.
Alright, so now we have Geometry Boss and 0 for Buane. He penalized himself by bonking. Oh, nice lineup here.
Oh, gets an amazing lineup. Did get the 3 hits, I believe. I think I heard 3 damages. An unfortunate blue ball. Those are unreflectable. Only the yellow energy balls are reflectable towards Aghanim.
Good double there. And Aga goes down. We are on to Mr. Blue Bacon himself, and Buane is very happy he got that tempered sword. This should be a pretty quick fight here.
Yeah, definitely tempered sword in hand. Blue mail, half magic, and just shy of 10 hearts. Will most likely not have any trouble getting rid of the beast himself. g3rd0 meanwhile does find himself the fire rod, is in go mode now as well.
Oh, and I think Buane's done with phase 2 already. He's just having fun beating Ganon down.
Yeah, with the temp sword, you can take a couple of liberties and just keep on hammering on Ganon, especially if the seed spin, especially rude. And considering the wild goose chase our runners have been on, definitely seems justified.
Oh, and he tried to glitch things so he can get a first spin, and does not quite manage it. So doing this silverless means that you effectively have to be spinning to initiate a spin right as he's about to teleport off, and that will do damage to him while still teleporting off. If you do it any earlier, he will go into his blue mode, which is right like this. Susceptible for silver arrows. I couldn't have timed that better.
Yeah, there is a 2-frame window where the spin attack hitbox is able to damage Ganon without activating his blue state. And with our brain does finish off the big pig with the final spin. Gerda, meanwhile, will be onto the modular fight shortly.
And GG to Buane as he goes ahead, enters the room. He completes and wins with an official time of 1:26:31. GG Buane forces the game 3 for this top 32 match. Man, what a race.
Yeah, definitely going to be an exciting game 3 for all the marbles. Gerdo opting to go for the forfeit in order to speed things up. Hopefully we can get both of our runners in it for a quick interview.
Yep. Gerdo with the forfeit says, yeah, I know what happened. We're going to see if we can't get them both in here. And we are joined now by Buane. GG, sir.
Hey, GG. Thanks.
See, I mentioned I was really hoping for game 3 at the start of this, and you came through. Well done.
Happy to make your wish come true there. Felt good.
So, if you could pick one point of the race where you think made the difference, what do you think it was?
Obviously, having already done my debrief with Gerdo after the race finished, finding left side swamp fire rod seems like it made the race this one. And it felt great when it was there too, because all my options after swamp would have made me feel, well, maybe not Pyramid Fairy, but anything beyond Pyramid Fairy was going to make me feel like Gerdo could have gotten this a lot earlier. If it was in Pod, for example, I'd put Pod off. Having found one thing after another that kept leading me away from Pod. As much as I wanted to get in there and do Pod, there was never a great chance. So if it wasn't left side swamp and then it wasn't Pyramid Fairy, I think I was going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, that's no fair. You guys are already talking. We can't spoil it for you. Oh man! But no, yeah, that was it. That was. I mean, he had about. I mean, you guys were still very close throughout the race. It was like about a 30-second difference or so between the two of you. You guys kind of went in separate directions and then covered each other's tracks and then met up again. It was very, very close the whole way. When he skipped left side swamp and then you pulled the fire rod from there, we kind of lost it here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, tough to recover from that spot. It's a good play, skipping left side, honestly, and I don't know what he had left after swamp. That can go into your decision making a lot too. If you're in swamp kind of early-ish, you might have a lot of stuff out in the world you want to go do. You skip left side, save 3 minutes or something like that. I tend to try and wait as long as possible on swamp. Now, didn't really have an option, given that we didn't have the hook shot for a long time in this one, so I didn't have the option of going into an early swamp, but I had pretty much cleared most of the non-dungeon locations before going in swamp, and that kind of just pushed me. Hey, there's 2 items still in here. You got to go back in and grab. And it's always the fire rod for me. I got a long history with that item, so it wasn't feeling great the longer it took to pull it, but ended up working out for me this seed. And up 1 game to 0, and it's even more incentive for g3rd0, I think, to make a skip like that, because that's a huge chunk of time. If you don't have to do left side swamp and there's nothing there, you get sometimes just a free win out of it. So it's not a bad play by any means.
Absolutely. So walk me through kind of your thought process as you're going this. We know you were down 1-0 going into this match, and you seem to prioritize a lot of overworld locations, and then after that, some of the lower percent plays over some other things. Was that your game plan going into this, knowing that you were down 1-0 and you had to make some gambles, or what was your thought process?
It's never comfortable no hammer for as long as we had no hammer. I mean, I guess the hammer was available very early. I don't actually know when g3rd0 picked it up, but having no hammer and access to the rest of non-Death Mountain overworld, I kind of just I will tend to prioritize do an efficient full clear of the overworld, and then start deciding what dungeons you might not be able to fully complete. You're gonna have to kind of prioritize which ones to go in after that. So I wanted to get as much of the overworld done as possible. The order of my dungeons ended up not being perfect. I did the early mire dip and felt bad when that didn't have anything, although I don't think I lost too much time in there because we never really found a sword anywhere else. Having the hammer be in Eastern was kind of a mixed blessing. On the one hand, that's great. On the other hand, could have had that a lot earlier. So I had to kind of double dip some areas of the overworld, but overall I felt like the route came together as efficiently as it could. As long as I never had to go back to Zora or Catfish, I felt like I was going to be okay. But against g3rd0, if any slight efficiency loss could mean game over. So it didn't feel very good until that fire rod showed up, and I felt pretty confident if I was going to lose, it was at least going to be really close from that point.
So how happy were you to find Tempered Sword on your way up Ganon's Tower?
It was a nice gift. I don't feel terrible about Master Sword Silverless. That would have been okay if we had to do that. The reason you worry about it is, okay, what if my opponent has Tempered? Or what if my opponent has the silvers somewhere else? Because that can be a significant time save. I felt like Ganon's Tower with the Master Sword went fine. There's a couple of rooms you can lose a little bit of time with no Tempered, but most of the time difference is on a couple of the boss fights. Master Sword Cold Stare was fine. The other boss fights were fine, and then Ganon went okay. Not really great warps for Silverless there. So thankfully, Tempered Sword let me do that a little faster. But overall, once you get the Silverless fight down, Master Sword Silverless, except in really extreme cases like no half magic or you don't have any potions. If I had to bust out the Master Sword Silverless, I had the cape, I had 3 blue goos, it would have been fine. But it's always nice to find that Tempered, just for the extra confidence, like, okay, if my opponent found a sword someplace else, at least this kind of evens it out.
Awesome. So game 3, I'm looking on the schedule, looks like it's coming up Wednesday, if I'm looking at it, at 2:30 in the afternoon Eastern time. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Little Independence Day showdown for me.
Well, now I'm just going to have to stay tuned. My Independence Day will be celebrating our independence from Ganon.
With any luck, yes.
And then Stan, who, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not American, are you, Stan?
No, I am from the European country. All the way over there, on the other side of the Pacific.
So we will be celebrating our... No, I'm kidding.
It's fine, I'll be firing off fireworks just the same. I like fireworks. They go boom and are pretty. Either way. Getting off track here. Unfortunately, g3rd0 will not be joining us for an interview But with that, Buane, again, congratulations from me as well. Do you have any final thoughts about the seed and this game as a whole?
Just happy to take one off Gerdo. You know, if my tournament had ended here, it's certainly as worthy of an opponent as I could ask for. I'm sure Game 3 is going to be great, and really looking forward to it. Thanks both to you, Vitasia, Stan. I'm sure great job, comms. Everyone behind the scenes, chat, who I'm sure enjoyed themselves. We've had a weekend with not a lot of rando, so it must have been good for a lot of chat to post GDQ, get some rando action in too. So I'm sure that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely going to be on the lookout for that third match again on July 4th at 12:30 p.m. EDT, or 2:30 rather. I can't read time. But yeah, well, that is going to do it for us for today. I would like to give a shout out to the speed gaming community, as well as to our tracker Michael K _, for keeping us honest and keeping us going in the right direction. Also, I would not be able to do this without my wonderful co-commentator, Vitasia. Thank you very much for joining me on this casting job.
Oh, and Stan, you know, big shout out to you as well. I always love working with you, and we had a lot of fun with this. You know, this is the only randomizer match for the day. We're getting close to the end, guys. We're in top 32. We're getting down to the very best of the best. So get your rando fixin' while you still can.
Yeah, definitely coming down to the wire. Now, as you mentioned, for today, that is going to be it in terms of randomizer, but be sure to give all of our channels a follow in way of this channel, Speed Gaming, as well as Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and the ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. And if you missed any of the matches, be sure to check out youtube.co.uk/Speed Gaming channel for all the VODs on any of the matches. But yeah, with that is going to do it for this evening. My name's been Stan.
And I'm Vitasia.
And with that, I bid you farewell. See you next seed.